from racist AI-generated videos that are the newest slop attracting millions of views on TikTok, thanks to Google's View 3 that they launched in May 2025, which is their AI video generator and is seemingly being used to generate videos depicting racist and anti-Semitic tropes. What about the study that found that OpenAI's GPT-4o, or Google's Gemini 1.5, or Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet, or Meta's Llama consistently generated disinformation in response to health queries, incorporating fake references, scientific jargon, and logical cause and effect reasoning to make the disinformation seem plausible? Not to mention the copyright situation, which we've seen many companies like OpenAI and indeed Google, who submitted multiple proposals to US governments as well as my country's UK government, arguing that AI companies should be able to train models on copyrighted material without needing any permission, aka stealing. Their justification? Oh yeah, we're scared of China, which by the way have more AI regulations than we have in the West, even though they are accelerating with their AI development. Make of that what you will. Not to mention, of course, in 2024, where I talked a lot about how generative AI models can cause brain rot and damage children's mental health and safety. I use Character AI as an example, which is also funded by Google, but they're not the only ones. There are many other models that do exactly the same thing. I even had Professor Sarah Grimes, who's the world expert in this area, discussing this topic many times. So I think we can all agree that we live in an era where your right to owning your creation, aka copyright, or any other intellectual property means nothing. Your human right for privacy is expendable. Your right of knowledge acquisition from trusted sources, as opposed to from whirlpools of misinformation and clickbait-driven podcasts and media content, is irrelevant. Your ethical and environmental concerns are at the bottom of the list of priorities by the status quo and the tech sector, despite claiming otherwise. And yet, the endless courses and books that have been sold about digital ethics. By the way, that's not me, I'm not selling you anything. Not to mention the speeches that loads of people have made, me included. Yeah, I'm guilty of that. No action has been taken. How come we still have these sort of stories despite the fact we spent all these years yapping about it? Maybe it's time for us to shut up and actually step up and start taking action to achieve change. I think I may have the solution for that. This is a CEO Retort podcast, the show that fearlessly goes after the difficult topics that we all need to talk about, campaigns for issues that we're all concerned about, and invites some amazing, inspiring, and remarkable guests who will help us navigate through this fragile world that we all care about. I'm Tim El-Sheikh. Let's get after it.
You are listening to CEO Retort.
This is going to be a very short one because I really feel so frustrated about this whole situation with AI, and it's like as if we're not getting anywhere. In fact, we're moving backwards. So the innovation is not getting any better, but the problems that people like me been reporting and talking about, in my case at least for over 10 years, are getting worse and worse and worse. So I've been actually working on this and thinking about this for the past couple of years, and one of the key arguments that I always tend to see with all the various debates, be it in politics, economics, and of course, ethical AI, in terms of, well, which country did it better? All countries have problems. All countries have this and all countries have that. It's okay that, yeah, we have homeless people. It's okay for us to have all this AI-generated slop, including the racist stuff that I've just highlighted. Oh, it's normal, because that's every country has a problem. Well, the reality is, actually, not every country has that problem. Yes, no country is perfect. But I've decided to do a little bit of research to find out, well, is there a country that managed to get that balance somewhat correctly, whereby, yes, they are looking after their people, they are innovating responsibly, but they are also creating unicorns? And I found one country a few years back, and that's Finland, the one that's been voted many times as being the happiest country in the world. Now, I personally not sure how they calculate that, but I think there's something in that statistic, in a sense that how safe do people feel within their own country? How do they feel about if something goes wrong in their lives? Let's say if they lose a job or they lose the business. Is there a safety net? You see, in the UK, despite the fact we have a liberal government, we had this bizarre debate recently about, should we take away benefits from disabled people because we want to make sure that they can go and work? Because apparently disability is their fault. I mean, what are we doing in here? What kind of civilized country is this that basically wants to target the poor, wants to target the disabled people in order to, I don't know, make the economy grow? What are we talking about? It's complete nonsense. But this is the reality. You look at countries like the United States, which is supposedly the richest country in the world, but at the same time, under Joe Biden, the number of homelessness has increased to over 700,000. So the richest country in the world has almost 1 million Americans that are homeless. How is it the richest country exactly? This is as absurd to me as saying that, oh, the richest person in the world has children who are going to bed hungry every night. That just doesn't make any sense. So since about probably 2021, I hired a team of people where I wanted them to investigate which country would be aligned with my ethics, the things that I talk about, the things that I basically been campaigning for, which country comes at the top whereby they have got the whole ethical aspect as a major priority within their deep tech ecosystem, but also it's a country that in fact has demonstrated that innovation has an impact on the general public. Because as I said earlier, it makes no difference to the general public whether or not we talk about ethics if we're not delivering anything. And this is my frustration. This is why I keep on saying that, it's time for us to shut the hell up and just get our asses out there and start achieving some kind of change. So for the past couple of years, basically, I've been working towards building bridges with Finland. And with that, I'm happy to share with you guys that I've been chosen to be part of a very prestigious scheme that they have called 90 Day Fin, which basically they choose around 10 to 15 innovators from around the world out of, they say thousands, I don't know. I mean, they never reveal that number, but 15 people out of thousands of people every single year to explore the deep tech ecosystem that they have. So I've been chosen for 2025. And in fact, I'm going to be there for most of the summer period for 90 days. And I wanted to use that opportunity for me to document my stay and my discovery of how that alignment between ethical innovation and the overall egalitarian system that Finland tends to have that effectively made it the happiest country in the world. Now, I think the one thing I should highlight, of course, that as is the case with any country, no country is perfect. They do have their own issues. There's a high level of depression, although I think there's high level of depression everywhere in the world that we live in today. But they do have a high level of depression. There's a very high level of domestic violence as well, which is kind of linked to depression, which people are kind of stuck inside, especially in the winter season, which is really, really cold in Finland. Like we're talking about what, -20, -30. So people are stuck indoors all the time with depression. If they have a partner, then things can happen, right? So this is basically has been studied for decades. So that is obviously a problem that they need to deal with. But I think as an overall society, they feel safe in their country. And this is really the key point. Perhaps this is what happiness means. Do you feel safe? You see, for example, in the UK, let's say you lost a job, right? And you can't pay your bills. Your credit rating just completely goes to shit. And it stays like that for 6 years. It's like as if it's your fault. It's like your fault that you lost a job and you can't pay your bills. And therefore you must be penalized for that, which I think is outrageous, in my opinion. I think it's ridiculous, especially in the world that we live in today, where cost of living crisis is totally out of control. And we're seeing in the news where working people, they have jobs, are using credit cards to be able to pay for their foods. I mean, what are we doing here? What kind of nonsense is this? This is ridiculous. But that's not in Finland. You see, in Finland, they have a safety net. They do have a UBI system, universal basic income. And there's this general belief in countries like the UK and America that, people just are a bunch of thieves and they're just going to take the money. Now, I see, from my experience growing up in privileged circles, the biggest scroungers tend to be the ones that have money, actually. And I know I'm generalizing here. I'm not saying that everybody's like that. I mean, I have money. I'm not like that. But unfortunately, when you look at the kind of people that are in power today, just look at their behavior. They're the sort of people who are the real scroungers. They're the sort of people that would try to screw the system to benefit themselves and not benefit the rest of society. I mean, look at this big, beautiful bill that was passed. This is arguably the worst and the largest shift of wealth from the poorest to the richest. And yet the poor people are the bad people for complaining about that. They are the scroungers. I mean, come on, get the fuck out of here. Okay, let's get real, right? So at least if you have a country whereby they feel that putting people first is actually somewhat important, because that way, as a society, they're not collapsing. What we see in America right now, and what we've in fact seen in the UK, thankfully, we kind of changed government, and the current government, to be fair to them, they are trying to fix the problem. But we have a society that apparently or appears to be collapsing. And how is that a happy society? So I think there's something in there. We can obviously delve into the science, whether the science is real or not. Just let's step back a little bit and just look at the overall picture. Why is it that the Nordic countries in general, not just Finland specifically, Finland seemed to have kind of really pushed it to that next level. But I'm seeing pretty similar reports in Denmark and Sweden and Norway and Iceland. And it's like it's a society, a regional society that believes in putting people first. And it's a very simple thing. I mean, again, who is against that? Why are we against that in the UK? I just don't get it. I find it ridiculously stupid. But here we are. So at least I wanted to embark on this journey within Finland to see what is the real application of digital ethics and ethical innovation has on society as a whole, so that, as I documented here, you guys around the world will be able to see how it's done. And hopefully, you might take that to your politicians. Certainly, I'm campaigning in the UK. I'm already connected to quite a few politicians. I'm already, bombarding them with a lot of these reports, and some of them actually are very happy that I'm doing this. And they, in fact, asked me to share with them everything that I can find, so that they can then influence the UK government, so that we can achieve the same sort of thing here in the UK. That's really the whole point of what I'm trying to do here. I want to document my stay in there, interview a few people, perhaps even their own politicians in there, to ask them how they actually did it, and why is it that other countries aren't following suit, or in their opinion, why aren't they doing it? What's the problem? Why isn't there a will to create a society that looks after its people? If you think about it, it's ridiculously simple, isn't it? It's a society that looks after its people. And as somebody that grew up in this whole tech ecosystem that believed in making the world a better place, well, I challenge anybody that can tell me that we are living in a world that is a better place today than it was, say, 20, 25 years ago. No, it's not. The environment is in the worst situation it's ever been. We've got more wars. We've got more conflicts. We've got more divisions. We've got more poverty. We've got more digital divide. Please tell me, how is this the better world today? Please explain that to me. How is it a better world today? So something has to change. Something absolutely needs to change. So I am going to do that. We can educate everybody and we can share it with as many people as possible, because then at the end of the day, as I always like to say, that if we want to achieve change as people, we need to do that together. It's not about one person doing it or one politician is doing it. I think that's not enough. Governments are completely, I don't know what governments are doing these days. They're certainly capitulating to the tech sector, they're capitulating to Trump or whatever. I don't know. But the point is, we need to rise up as people. So at least if I can provide as much information as I can, and you've got that information to present it to your politicians and put pressure for them to force that change and stop listening to the tech sector that basically goes on about, oh, we want AI that can replace humans. Oh, yeah? Okay, good luck with that, motherfucker, because we've been trying to do this for the past 40, 50, 70 years even. And it ain't going to happen, because that's not how AI works. Check out all of my older videos on YouTube, and you'll see it for yourself. I've been saying this for years. That's not how AI works. So we need to change, and hopefully this documentary can play a tiny role in that, at least in educating people. And based on that, I know some people are going to ask me, Tim, are you moving to Finland? No, I'm not moving to Finland personally. But I'm certainly considering moving the company. Now, we're definitely setting up my company in Finland. Most likely the HQ is not going to be in the UK anymore, because we always saw ourselves as a European company with a British flavor. Brexit, of course, took that away from us. So, we decided to take action ourselves. So that's why we're building the company in Europe rather than in the UK. But the other thing I've decided that I wanted to do, and I've been thinking about this for months and months and months, and of course, this whole opportunity with Finland came about, is that I wanted to create a non-profit organization whereby we are researching and developing solutions, open source AI solutions to deal with all these issues that I talked about earlier in terms of depression, behavioral change caused by AI, maybe even beyond that. And again, depending on the funding, because of course it's non for profit, so it's not something I can attract investors. Not that I would have attracted investors anyway. Those who follow me know that I've walked away from all of that. My company is fully funded by myself and my co-founders, and perhaps the nonprofit is going to initially be funded by me again. But ultimately, I'm going to try to involve government organizations, other nonprofits to work in collaboration to see what we can do to deal with this problem that is caused by AI, right? This problem of behavioral change, delusions, psychosis, etc. I mean, guys, I've said this, but please go and see my old videos. And I've been saying it then, and I'll continue to say it. Things are not going to get better unless we make change. Change is not happening. Talking is great. We've been talking. Yeah, here I am. I'm talking. But at least I'm taking action. I invite you to do the same. Take action whichever way you can. You can take action by supporting this podcast if you want. Thank you. That would be fantastic. But if you can do your own thing, if you can try build coalitions, try and set up your own nonprofit, try to join different schemes like the one that I've joined here for Finland, even though, okay, it's a highly selective, but at least you try. It's no point of us sitting back and complaining and thinking about, oh my God, nothing is working, nothing is happening. What do we do? Blah, blah, blah. Stop moaning, stop complaining, stop talking, and just get the fuck on with it. It is a bit, I feel a bit frustrated that we are where we are. And in fact, at the beginning of 2025, I did say that 2025 is going to be the internet of shit, didn't I? Right? This video over here. Here we are in July 2025. I'm sorry to say that I was right. I hate the fact that I'm right because I don't want to be right, because that means if I'm right, that means things aren't working out, right? So, yes, we're going to have a long road ahead of us, and we're going to have a lot of work to do. But at least, as I said, this is something that I really wanted to do for quite a while. And I'm very excited and I'm thankful that Finland has given me the opportunity to do that. And again, I want to say thank you for all of your support. Those of you who supported us by becoming founding members or donating like $1 here, $5 there, which you can do by going to ceoretort.com/support. I mean, I'll greatly appreciate it. Or ideally, you could as well subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. Give us 5-star rating if you can. That'd be fantastic. All of that really brings more attention towards the work that we do in here. And what's my hope? I don't know. I am hopeful. I'm trying to be positive. I've been accused for not being positive enough, but do you blame me? But I want to be positive. I do what I do. Everything that I'm doing right now is at least create some kind of step towards a positive outcome, despite all of the garbage that we're seeing coming at us from all over the place. I mean, from government, from big tech, from VCs, from idiots, you name it. It's totally out of control right now. But anyway, my friends, as I said, this is a very short episode. It's really more of an announcement and probably a little bit of a rant. I was actually contemplating whether we should put this in our new YouTube channel, CEO Retort Extra. If you haven't checked it out, please make sure you do. This is where we put all of the top clips from all of the episodes that we've had so far. But also, I'm planning to have short videos in there occasionally where I talk about various different topics, which is the reason why I was thinking whether this video should go there or keep it on this main channel. But actually, I thought, it should be on the main channel because effectively I want to talk to you about the documentary that I'm putting together, which of course is going to be a very big part of this channel for sure. And so yeah, make sure you check it out. CEO Retort Extra. Again, I've got the link in the description for you. Let's get this working, people. Again, if you can support, if you can help us fund this work, please make sure you do that again at CEO Retort/support. It will make a big difference to help me out, help my team out. And we make sure that we want to bring this information to as many people as possible all over the world, because it's time for us to take ethics seriously by acting, not talking. Enough of that. enough books, enough courses. Okay, I know people want to make money, but hey, the world is fucked up. Let's change that, shall we? I hope with your help, together, we can do that. So, much love, my friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
You are listening to CEO